Okay, Gianni, if you can hear me, go ahead and let me know. Type in the comments. Right now, everyone's just kind of studying for their pretest. We're going to take it in just a few minutes. I'll give you a few minutes to study over those words and definitions. Cameron, are you studying? So it looks like you're looking all around instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing. Be wise, don't waste time. If you have not turned in your homework yet, make sure you get those turned in, your spelling and your story from yesterday. Bless you. Gianni, can you hear me? If so, go ahead and put it in the chat. I want to make sure you can hear me so you're ready for your pretest. Then I want you to face forward so you're not distracting Tony. Turn around and face forward. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the first pre-test. Those of you that are, I'm sorry, when I say the first pre-test, I mean the altered list Okay? Those of you that are on the main list, you can keep studying. And get a pencil out. Make sure your binder is put away to where you can't see the list, please. Gianni, I'm going to do the other group's list first. You can keep studying at this time. I'll let you know when it is time for your pre-test. Okay, number 1. Connection. Connection. We had to check the computer connection. 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 What's the first thing we always do, Cameron? Name and date. Connection. Number 2. Constitution. Constitution. I am thankful for the Constitution. Bless you. Constitution. 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 Okay, number 3. Contagious. Contagious. We are taking extra precautions to try to avoid the contagious virus that is going around. Contagious. Contagious. Make sure we're focusing in on our test, not on anything else right now. Number 4. Conversion. I'm sorry. Skip that. Conversation. I read it quickly. Conversation. I was having a conversation with my mom. Conversation. 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 Number 5. Cooperation. Cooperation. In order for our class to be successful, I need your cooperation. Cooperation. Number 6. Correct. Correct. Yes, sir. Cooperation. Number 6. Correct. I hope you spell the word correct correctly. Correct. That's number 6. Correct. Number 7. Coupon. Coupon. I had a coupon for rice. Coupon. Coupon. Number 8. Creative. Creative. I enjoy conversing with creative people. Creative. Creative. Number 9. Creature. Creature. There was an interesting looking creature on the tree outside. Creature. Creature. And number 10, crisis. Crisis. The government has called the coronavirus a health crisis. Crisis. Okay, do any of you need any of those repeated? Tristan? Number 4 was conversation. Conversation. I had a conversation with my mom. Yes, Tony? Number 5 is cooperation. Cooperation. Put your chair down. Anyone else? Anything repeated? Okay, I'll let you. Yes, Tony? Number 2 was constitution. Constitution. Okay, you guys may finish that test when you are finished. Just flip it over on your desk when you're finished, and then you may get your creative writing books out. And I want you to start reading and working on pages 44 and 45. Okay, everyone else, go ahead and clear off your desk. Get ready for your spelling bee test. Gianni, this one's for you. Those that just took your test, it's 44 and 45 I want you to work on. We're going to do 46 and 47 together. Today. Okay, did everyone get one? Gianni, you should have this at home, so just make sure you have that out. If you email this to me, take a picture of it and email it, and just attach it. I can check it tonight, and if you get 100, you don't have to take the test tomorrow, so that's our Friday. So, make sure you do that. If not, then it's just extra practice for you, okay? All right. Number 1. Write the spelling word asterisk. Asterisk. Hopefully this list is easier for you guys since it's all review. We've already learned these words. Asterisks. Asterisk. asterisk. Number 2. Disastrous. Disastrous. That was a disastrous party. Disastrous. Gianni, if you can't hear anything clearly, just leave a comment and I can repeat for you, okay? Number 3. Comprehensive. Comprehensive. We took a comprehensive test in language today. Comprehensive. Number 4. Buoyancy. Buoyancy. The science class was experimenting with the theory of buoyancy. Buoyancy. Number 5. Frequency. Frequency. I water my plants with frequency. When you're finished, just flip it over on your desk and work on your creative writing page. Frequency. Number 6. Autonomous. Autonomous. I went to an autonomous local church, meaning self-governed or self-ruled. Autonomous. Number 7. Immersion. Immersion. She was baptized by immersion. Cameron, are you finished? Okay. Immersion. Number 8. Drowned. Drowned. The boat sank and all the passengers drowned. Drowned. Number 9. Interrupted. Interrupted. The little boy interrupted his mommy when she was speaking. Interrupted. Interrupted. Number 10. Disguised. Disguised. I disguised myself as a princess for Halloween. Disguised. Disguised. Number 11. Interested. I was interested in getting a new puppy. Interested. Number 12. Whispered. She whispered a secret to her friend. Whispered. Number 13. Persuaded. Persuaded. She persuaded her mom to take her to the mall. Persuaded. That's why Olive wasn't here yesterday. She persuaded her mom to take her shopping. Is that why, Olive? No. It would have been fun though, huh? Do you like to shop? Do you like to smile? Am I picking on you? Am I embarrassing you? Ariel, do you like to go shopping? Do you like to smile? Persuaded. All right. Number 14, subordinate. Subordinate. Subordinate, meaning under someone's rule. Number 15, subpoena. Subpoena. Gavin. Subpoena. The man was issued a subpoena to appear in court. Subpoena. Number 16, subconscious. Subconscious. Gavin used the word subconscious in his story yesterday. I was very impressed. Subconscious, meaning partially conscious, partially not conscious, kind of conscious. Number 17, substitute. Substitute. The lady used a substitute sweetener in her tea. Substitute. Number 18, diagonal. Diagonal. The student drew a diagonal line across the paper. Diagonal. Not right now. Diagonal. Number 19, diaphragm. Diaphragm. It is best to use your diaphragm when you are singing. Sing from your diaphragm. Diaphragm. This one has a silent letter in it. Number 20, physician, a doctor. Physician. Physician. Landon, are you working? Physician. Does anyone need any of those repeated? No? Okay, flip them over. I'll give you your vocabulary words. All of the words are on the board. You can look at them, choose from here if you'd like. Hopefully, Gianni, you can see those words. I'll stand off to the side to make sure you can see them too. I'm going to give you the vocabulary definition. You are going to write the correct word in the blank. Now, there's no reason to misspell a vocabulary word, right? Because they're right here on the board. So make sure you spell them correctly. Okay. Write the vocabulary word that means a community on the outskirts of a city. A community on the outskirts of a city. A community on the outskirts of a city. Moved it a little closer there for you, Gianni. A community on the outskirts of a city. Okay? Number 2, a useful product or service. A useful product or service. A useful product or service. Number 3, a person who comes into a new country to live. A person who comes into a new country to live. answer those questions for me? Number 3 was a person who comes to live in a new country, or in a new country to live. Number 4. Pride. Pride. Which one of these words means pride? Number 5. The immune system's attack on the body. The immune system's attack on the body. Emily, we're not turning them in. Just keep it on your desk. I'll collect it in a minute, okay? Begin working on your creative writing, though. The immune system's attack on the body. That was number 5. Number 6. Able to live on land and in water. Able to live on land and in water. Able to live on land and in water. That was number 6. Number 7. A shortage or inadequacy. A shortage or inadequacy. If you have a shortage of vitamin C in your body, the doctor would say you have a vitamin C. A shortage or inadequacy. Number 8. To inject a vaccine into a living organism to prevent disease. To inject a vaccine into a living organism to prevent disease. To inject a vaccine into a living organism to prevent disease. Number 9. To declare guilty. To sentence. To declare guilty. To sentence. The Bible says that God came not into the world to blank the world, but that the world through him might be saved. To declare guilty, to sentence. Number 10. Having to do with a business or trade. Having to do with a business or trade. Having to do with a business or trade. Number 11. A list of books and articles on a particular subject. A list of books and articles on a particular subject. Is it an emergency right now? Yes. By the way, some of you don't have your mask up. Make sure your masks are on always in this class. Okay? Up and over your nose, guys. It's important. Number 11 was a list of books and articles on a particular subject. Number 12, to come down to another's mental or social level. To come down to another one's mental or social level. Number 13, feeling deeply sorry for have sinned. Feeling deeply sorry for have sinned. Feeling deeply sorry for have sinned. Did you finish both these pages? And why are we not working on it? Number 14, about to happen, close at hand. About to happen, close at hand. The Lord Jesus' return is blank. Close at hand, about to happen. And last one, number 15, to say the opposite. To say the opposite. To say the opposite. One person says one thing and you say another thing, you are doing what to them? To say the opposite. Okay, very quickly. Who needs one repeated? Ariel? Number 2 was a useful product or a service. That was the same one you needed repeated? Adam? Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else need anything repeated? No? Okay, I'm going to come around and collect all of the pre-tests. Next Friday, if anyone gets 100 on the pretest, I will give them 20 tickets. 20 tickets. I know somebody in here can do it. You done? No? Still thinking? Finished? Okay, everyone pull out your creative writing books, please. Go to page 44. Did I get yours, Emily? Get your homework, okay. Which one are you stuck on? Oh, okay. If anyone gets 100 on this one, I'll give you 20 tickets as well. Gavin, when you're finished, just bring it up to me, okay? Okay, page 44, sensing details. We've talked about being aware, having awareness. We've talked about observing. I think all of that ties together, right? You're aware of your surroundings. You're observing. Observing means to look closely. Okay, if you're, I'm really close to this camera, so let me just move it back a little bit again. Today we're going to talk about sensing details. Okay, God gave us our senses, and I'm so thankful He did. Can you imagine not being able to taste food? Wouldn't that be so disappointing? I have a friend who can't smell. She's lost her sense of smell. She's actually never had it. And because of that, have you guys ever done the experiment where you plug your nose and eat something? And it really does mute your taste, your sense of taste, right? So she can't really taste things. She can't taste flavors. She can tell if she likes something by the texture of the food. Because remember, when one sense is gone, your other senses kind of act doubly for that sense that's missing. But what a disappointment to miss one of our senses. I think about people who can't see. Can you imagine not being able to see the world around you? My husband asked me one time, he said, if you had a choice, would you rather not be able to see, or would you rather not be able to hear? And by far, I would rather be able to see. Because I can't imagine never being able to see my mom's face, my children's faces, not knowing what they look like, not being able to see the beautiful mountains and the trees and the flowers and all the trips we take and just the beautiful sights, not being able to see that. And I'm thankful that God gave me the sense of sight. You know, we see people that are blind all the time, but how many of us have compassion on them and pray for them? Because that is a difficult thing that they have to live with, a difficult disability, I guess you would say. And then not being able to hear. Not being able to hear your mom's voice. Did you guys ever see that little video of the little baby who was born, couldn't hear? And they were able to make this, I don't know, like what technology they had, but this incredible hearing aid that they put on this baby. And then as soon as that baby heard its mom's voice for the first time ever, that baby's face just lit up. Big old smile, just got so excited. Had never, ever been able to hear till they put that little hearing aid in that little baby's ear. And so don't take it for granted, these senses that God has given you. The sense of being able to see. The sense of being able to hear. Because not everybody has those abilities. The sense of being able to touch and feel things. I'm a very, I like texture. My husband laughs at me because when I go to the store, I love to buy pillows and blankets. I don't know why, but I could have 500 pillows on my couch, and my family gets, does anyone have a mom that's like that? They like to put all the decorative pillows on the couch, and my kids feel like they can't sit down because I don't want them to sit on them and ruin them, so they have to move them. But I like texture, and that's why these pillows have different textures, and the blankets, the woven blankets, and the ones that you can curl up with. I love those types of things. I love texture, the being able to feel. And so we're talking about sensing details. Okay, when you're gonna write creatively, you want to be able to write details that you've observed, details that you're aware of, but then also you want to, in detail, use your senses, because that's what really gets people drawn in. If I were to tell you about Thanksgiving right now, someone just tell me, like, what's one thing you think of when you think of Thanksgiving? Shane? Food. Why? Can you smell it? Like right now, can you remember the smell of Thanksgiving? Yeah. So when we think of Thanksgiving, we think of food. When I think of Thanksgiving, I can almost in my mind right now smell that turkey, smell the apple and pumpkin pie. My mom, when I think about Christmas, I have things about Christmas that I think about. My mom always has candles lit. They're usually like cinnamon spice. We usually have the fireplace, so you usually smell the cinnamon with the smell of the fireplace burning. And then we have the smell of the pine tree, the Christmas tree in the room. And so all of these senses are what make up my memories of Thanksgiving and of Christmas. Okay, we just talked about yesterday thinking about things from our memories and writing in detail. But it's our senses a lot of times that make up these memories, okay? When you go to the ocean, you probably have memories of going to the beach. How many of you have ever been on the beach before? Okay. Then let me ask you a question. When you think of the beach, what's one thing that you think of? Tony?
Water.
The water. Okay. Anyone else? Emmeline? Sandcastles. Okay. Fishing. Can you guys sense the beach? You just gave me like a picture of it. Sand, the water. But can you sense the beach? By that meaning, what does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? Someone raise your hand. What does the beach feel like? Warm, okay, the sun, sometimes cold, yes? What? Cold water, okay. Anyone else? What else does the beach feel like? Soft sand, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about that sand that goes in between my toes, right? That feeling of that sand between my toes as I'm walking through the beach. I can feel that. I can feel the cold water splashing up. I can feel the warm sun. So this is the way the beach feels. How about, what does the beach sound like? Okay, but who can tell me? What does the beach sound like? What are some things you hear at the beach? The crashing waves, right? The tide rolling in, crashing in every few seconds, right? What else? What else does the beach sound like? Huh? Birds chirping? Good. How about like kids playing and laughing? Those are some things that I think of when I think of the beach, okay? How about what does the beach smell like? Salty sand water or salty beach water, right? That's what I smell. The ocean just has a different smell. Do you guys, you know that smell when you get out of the beach? It has a different smell. And that's part of your memory because you can sense it, okay? So when you're writing, you want to write with these details. You want to talk about the salty beach water air. Because if I say that, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've been to the beach and I say in my writing, it smelled like salty beach water air, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been there. You've smelled that smell. It's a different smell than here in Banning, right? If I talk about the birds chirping and the waves crashing, it paints that picture, but you're familiar with it because you've been there. You sense that. So we want to talk about how do we write using our senses. Look in this peach box here. It says we observe with more than just our eyes. There are, and it shows tinkling wind chimes to hear. How many of you can hear that? In your memory, you can hear those wind chimes, okay? That means that one time before, you've heard wind chimes. And the lilac bushes to smell. How many of you walked by flowers before and the smell was so strong? Okay? Soft and tender babies to touch. How many of you have ever touched a newborn baby? Their skin is so soft and they're so warm and cuddly, right? And then there is cotton candy to taste. Can you guys taste the cotton candy? Can you feel it melting in your mouth? Okay, so those are the type of details that when we're writing, we want to talk about, we want to express. People who use all 5 of their senses find much pleasure in life, and they always have something to write about. Their writing is interesting because it is filled with details that make the reader see and smell and hear and taste and want to touch too. They have taken time to be aware and enjoy simple pleasures. Okay, I think even just thinking about some of these things makes me happy. Okay, if someone were to write about a Thanksgiving meal and they were just to talk about the turkey in the oven and there was people, but in my mind I can picture joy because I can smell the turkey cooking. I can smell the pie. I can hear my family members laughing and playing games. I can hear the football game in the background. And it brings joy as I bring out those details. Okay? It's a happy time to think and reflect on those. So then how do we write them? It says sensitive discussions. Let's practice this and see how you work with your senses. How do morning sounds differ from evening sounds? Can anyone give me an example? Tony? Huh? It's okay, it's quiet. Okay. Maybe it's not as quiet at nighttime. Yes?
There's like no cars driving.
Okay, there's no cars driving, so there's not a lot of traffic on the roads, right? So there's no car sounds, honking and being loud. Yes, ma'am? Yeah, that's one of the things that I think of in the morning time. Whenever I wake up, it's like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm not gonna lie. At first, it used to be really annoying, but our neighbors behind us, they have roosters, right? So every time the sun just starts to come up, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo, and it wakes me up. And at first, my husband laughed at me because when we were looking to move, I kept telling him I just want to live in a little farmhouse, and we moved into a neighborhood. And it's not a farmhouse, but right behind us, they have roosters. And so when they kept waking me up, I was getting frustrated by it. My husband said, you get what you wish for. You said you wanted to live in a farmhouse, and now you get all the farmhouse sounds. So that's what I think of in the morning is I think about those roosters. And then we also have some birds that chirp. So write some of those sounds down. Make sure you're writing, okay? And then does morning feel different? Does morning feel different than the evening time? Not just sound different, but feel. Yes or no? Yes? How? It's colder. Okay, I agree. I think it's always a little bit cooler in the mornings, right? How else does morning feel different? Anyone have anything else? Liviana? It's not so windy. Good. It's usually kind of calm in the morning times. Anyone else? Adam, you got another one? Sometimes it's foggy, so you can kind of feel that fog in the air, that early morning cloud layer. We get a lot of that in Southern California. We get the cloud layer that comes in from the ocean, and then by mid-morning it's pretty much gone, right? That was a good one. Okay, then it says take your senses on a tour of all the seasons. Okay, so let's think about autumn. You guys know that autumn is another word for what? Fall. Good. I'm glad you know that. Okay, so think about autumn or fall. Does it smell different from spring? Yes or no? Class, just shout out loud. Yes or no? Yes. How? How does fall smell different than spring? Yes, Cameron?
The trees.
Trees what? What about the trees? How do they smell different? It's a good answer. Just expound upon it. How do they smell different? The trees in the spring are usually what? Can anyone expound upon Cameron's answer? Ariel?
In the spring, the trees are. The wind blows through them a lot.
They're what?
The wind blows through them a lot.
The wind blows through them, okay. But how do they smell differently? Tony? What happens in the springtime, guys? In the spring? Nope. Shane? But how does it smell different? How does it feel different? How does it smell different? Anyone have any idea? In the springtime, you have flowers that are what? Blossoming and blooming. That's what spring's known for, right? So, Cameron, your answer was correct. You're going to have trees that have flowers all over. They're blooming. They're going to smell like blooming trees. But in the fall, are the trees blooming? No, in fact, they're hibernating for winter, right? All their leaves are starting to fall off, and so they don't have that fresh floral scent. How else would autumn or fall smell different than spring? Yes, Adam? Okay, and in fall you have pine cones. I think of fall as in you have your fireplaces going, so you have that smell in the air, right? How many of you, when you go home in fall time and it's starting to get cool, you can smell everyone has their fireplaces going? Springtime's not that way, right? Spring, it's starting to get warm, everything's blooming, you have flowers blooming all around, you have those smells, plus you have probably people starting to barbecue, so you have those smells. So there's definitely a difference between spring and fall. Now I hope you guys are writing these down, because we're talking through it, but you should be writing it in your books as well. And then next question, how does winter feel different from summer? Landon? What? Okay, winter is cold. Yes. Can kind of get you to the bone. Yes? We've got winter is cold, summer is hot. Obviously, that's your biggest difference. Do you have anything else? No? Ariel, you got something different?
It was different, like,
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we're talking about the way it feels physically, okay? So your biggest thing there would be the cold and the heat. Okay, in the cold, maybe you can think of the feeling of being bundled in a warm blanket, cozy, right? In the summertime, you're jumping in a pool because it's hot and you're sweaty. So that's the difference between your feeling there in winter and summer. And then what taste goes with each season? So they give you an example. Sweet carameled apples in the fall. Who could tell me something that they taste in the summer? Yes.
Watermelon.
Watermelon, yes. As soon as the weather starts getting warm, I am looking for a watermelon. I love watermelon in the warm weather. Okay? I also think of like popsicles in the summer, right? Ice cream. Okay, how about wintertime? What are some things that you taste? Yes.
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. That's mine. That was my number one answer. Hot chocolate. Warm soups, maybe. We always like to make roast in the crock pot in the wintertime. We put it in there. We have roast beef and carrots and potatoes, and it's just something that we always do in the wintertime. So in our family, that would be a taste of winter. And then in fall, they already gave us kind of one, carameled apples. In fall, we have Thanksgiving. So maybe your turkey, your mashed potatoes and gravy. All of those things would be things that you would taste in fall. And hopefully you got those written down. Should have something written for every season down there. Guys, make sure we're writing as we're talking, okay? Okay, go ahead and turn your pages to 46. Barefoot Days. Ariel, stand please and read this poem for us.
Barefoot Days. In the morning very early, that's the time I love to go. Barefoot where the sun grows taller, and the grass is cool between each toe. On a summer morning, oh, on a summer morning. That is when the birds go by, up the sunny slope to there, and each rose has a butterfly or a golden bee to wear. And I am glad in every toe, such a summer morning, oh, such a summer morning.
Okay, so here we have this poem written by Rachel Field, and she used all 5 senses. She talked about things that she felt. Says that she felt the cool grass between her toes. Talked about the things that she saw. She saw a butterfly on a rose and a bee. It talks about, let me see here. Talks about things she saw. The birds. You can kind of get the idea there too of the things that she hears. She's hearing the birds go by. Only thing that I'm not seeing is something that she tastes, but you can see how she used her senses. She thought about the way it feels on that cool summer morning, how it feels between her toes, things that she saw, things that she hears, and she was able to write this interesting poem. All right, so page 47, let's practice. It says, let's awaken our own 5 senses. Close your eyes and remember some summer days. Perhaps you were asleep to all the sights and sounds that were around you at the time, but try to imagine them now. Can you hear an angry fly buzzing? Did you get a pebble in your shoe? Make some list of specific things that you might associate with a summer day if you were using all of your senses. I think when I think of summer, I usually think of when we go to Missouri, because when we go to Missouri, it's hot and humid, and yet there's beautiful trees all around, and there are, in the evening time, lots of fireflies, and I love just sitting back and watching the fireflies. We go to the lake, so there's the sights and sounds and smells of the lake. So that's probably what I would use as a memory and use my senses from there. I want you to do this on your own, okay? Page 47. I'm going to give you to the rest of the hour to work on it. Make sure you finish it. Tonight there is no homework, but this does need to be finished. And while you're working on that, I will start grading your pretest. Gianni. Just make sure that you finish that page in your creative writing and be ready for your spelling test on Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow.